Hello everyone. We want to show you our model that is model of response to social pain. We use the dynamic systems theory and developmental psychology that actually use mathematics of nonlinear dynamics plus developmental phenomena. And nonlinearity is important for understanding processes of change because like in classic, we have outcomes are proportional to inputs, but in the dynamical systems, change is not proportional to inputs. And we also have the social pain theory because the brain responds similarly to physical and social injury, and evaluation of threat and reward are fundamental aspects of behavior regulation. Although functionally related, expectations of threat and reward are conceptually distinct and not reducible to general approach and avoidance motivation. And variation in social rejection, especially in early life history, influences threat and reward expectations and approach and avoidance motivation over the lifetime. Here is actually our model, and you can see the base level in pink and the adaptive level in blue. For X1 and X2, we have a socially threatening stimulus and socially rewarding stimulus. X3 and X4 is perception of or socially threatening stimulus or rewarding one. And X5 is expectation of social threat, and X6 is expectation of social reward. That move us to X7, that is avoidance motivation because of the frightening stimulus, and X8 that is approach motivation because of social rewarding stimuli. And we also thought firstly to make expectations of threat and expectations of reward like equal, but in the end we made it like more weight for expectations of social reward because people like more mutually socially predisposed. And we have X9 that is approach behavior. So all these states are mutually connected and influence our approach behavior, our willingness to approach someone and make social contacts. And also we have X10, which is social pain. And it's motivated when we have approach behavior simultaneously the social threatening stimulus. So yeah, so people will be hurt. Then we evaluate something like what we need to approach and have social contacts, but that stimuli is actually threatening and we get hurt about it. And also we have X11 and its social reward. This situation when everything goes good, when we have like socially rewarding stimulus, evaluate it correctly, approach it, and actually we are super glad because we have everything okay and it's not hurting stimuli. And we have second adaptive level for Hebbian learning, for when someone experiences a lot of pain, mistakenly take threatening stimulus as good one.
So can I maybe jump in to explain it more quickly? So basically, we made these determined by Hebbian learning, which are these here and these here. And we're sorry that the model is messy, but that was the only way to make all these arrows legible. So basically, they start out with nearly equal weights, and then by being exposed to like the consequences of their approach behavior, so either social pain or social rewards, they quickly learn to associate one of these perceptions. So when they see this, after a while, the hypothetical subject should know that it's not going to lead to rewards, it's going to lead to threats, and vice versa for the friendly stimuli. And then we added some other second level characteristics, which are these four. Actually, all these connections here have been taken from articles, so they're all supported by existing psychological theory, and you can see the explanations for them here, but they're basically just the modifiers of some connection weights, nothing too particular, so we don't have really the time to explain it. And these are our, I'm sorry, my computer is lagging, so this is how the model looks from up close. So you have, we use the step mod function to model the stimuli. So this is the good one, this is the bad one, good one, bad one, good one. And then as you can see, all the various levels of the variables change. But what's more interesting is to observe it from at a larger distance. So we ran it for like 800 time units. And this is super messy, so we're going to split the graph into parts. So again, these are the stimuli, and this is social approach. So as you can see, the person originally is exposed to a positive stimuli, and their tendency to approach rises. And only after some exposure to the painful one as well, they start retreating. But after a while, this tendency changes and retreating becomes the default, and they only approach when they perceive the stimulus that they know is good. And here we can see the expectations of threat in green and the expectations of reward in blue. So they're just immediately high for the first stimulus, because this is the first instance of learning, and this is a testimony to the importance of, say, early learning in developmental psychology. Whereas the perceptions of threat rise the more one is exposed to the painful stimulus. But the interesting thing is, because at this point, the subject starts withdrawing from the painful stimulus, and since Hebbian learning, you know, they forget it with time, since they are no longer exposed to the pain and they're successfully avoiding the stimulus, their perceptions of threat are also declining, because they aren't experiencing anything negative anymore. And this is particularly interesting because these are the motivation, approach, and avoidance motivation. So approach motivation is high throughout, it is immediately high because the first stimulus is positive, whereas the avoidance motivation is very low for a while, and then it rises with time. And at one point we have a change of the attractor state, as you would call it in dynamic systems theory, which means that it just jumps up and it continues being up. So this person in their head completely changes their strategy. They suddenly become a lot more scared of potential rejection, and they become a lot more cautious and like tend to avoid stimuli unless they are the ones that they already know that are good. So we can explain this in real life terms as, for example, a very friendly person being hurt several times and then becoming very insecure and needing a lot of reassurance in order to approach a person. And as we can see, this this jump in avoidance motivation overlaps with the change in strategy when it comes to approach behavior. And I think this is everything that I wanted to say. Yes, so the limitations of the model are that for now, oh, sorry, Oleksandra, you wanted to say this part. Go ahead.
Oh, you can say it, it doesn't matter. But yeah, limitations of the model for now, it does not work for ambiguous social information, like overlapping between painful and rewarding stimuli. And we actually need to add states that would modulate conflict between approach and avoidance motivation. And also we don't take into consideration the aggressive behavior. So we just working with like just threatening and rewarding stimuli, but not aggression. And potential utility of the model is predicting a response to treatment and different populations, and research theoretical predictions in the field of development of response strategies to social pain. Thank you for your attention.